Okay. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me today.
Absolutely. This is going to be fun. Let's talk about Q4 and how we can eliminate our overwhelm and have it be more stress-free, right?
Oh my God, that's a dream and a goal for everybody for Q4 to be stress-free. Before we jump in, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? What's been your experience?
Well, I'm a board certified professional organizer and personal stylist. And I started this career with an aha because did you know that we have 300,000 items in our average home? And I know
Wow,
some of you listening might have a little bit more than that. You might be above average, but 300,000 items.
that's
So there's a lot of room for us to let go.
oh, you're not kidding. You would have a field day here. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So, my what brought me here was a long time ago, I was a licensed boat captain and I was delivering yachts. And I remember I was in the middle of a Gulf Stream and I was thinking about everything back in my apartment at the time and thinking none of it really meant much to me. And so I'd get back to shore and I'd purge. And later I became a travel writer and I lived out of a suitcase and the same thing happened. So I think the universe was telling me, okay, clear, 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 clear. And when I launched this new company 20 years ago as a professional organizer, it was really interesting to me to work with people who didn't have that letting go muscle, right? That I had developed just through what I did for a trade.
Mhm.
And so that's what I really do is really help people learn how to let go with ease and grace, less stress.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing, Dawn, every single thing in your environment requires energy from you.
Yes.
Everything. Like even a pen, right? Requires energy because you had to pay money to get it. You have to put it somewhere. You have to find it. You have to use it, right? So when's the pen going to give you energy? Probably when you use it. But
Mhm.
all up until then, it took energy from you to even have it. And that's just one little pen, right?
How interesting. Never thought about that, but it makes sense.
Yeah. So the idea is to have everything in the only things in your environment that give you more than what it takes.
Mhm.
So if you have a closet full of clothes and you go in there and they don't fit and you feel bad about it, they're zapping your energy. If you
Mhm.
have a closet full of clothes that we only wear 20% of our clothes anyhow. The clothes that we wear that we love, that's where we get energy. So why not release the ones that make you feel yucky and
Mhm.
funky? You're too crowded anyhow.
Right, right, right. What do you think is the reason why people hold on to these things and they don't want to get rid of? You said that we use 20% of our clothing, and I probably honestly can relate to that. Why? Why do you think we're afraid to let go of these things?
Well, our letting go muscles are atrophied. So most people have never learned how to let go,
Hmm.
right? And so we don't know how to let go and we're in fear. So, we either come from fear or love, right? So we're in fear when it comes to letting go. I might need it someday. Mike Clogley actually wrote that book, but I might need it someday. Or someone else might want it. Or what if I can never replace it? Or I might not have enough money later. So that's all fear stuff, right?
Yes.
And what I know to be true is if you let go and you let go and you let go and you move your excess out to the world, it will come back to you 10 times folder. Take for instance, I have one client and he had a lawnmower and I'm like, do you mow your lawn? He goes, no, I have a service for that. I said, well, why don't you get rid of the lawnmower then? And he's like, well, what if my neighbor wants to borrow it? And I'm like, well, okay, if your neighbor wants to borrow it, why do you give it to him? Or better yet, give it to the gardener who does your lawn because he would probably very much appreciate having an extra lawnmower in his bevy. And he released it. And sure enough, his gardener was ecstatic. He actually gave it to his gardener. His gardener actually gave him a little discount on the next time's trimming because he had given him this lawnmower. And it was a win-win-win all the way around. Now he has room to park his bicycle that he's doing crossroad trekking on. He
Mhm.
actually has beautiful space in his garage now for that bicycle, which is his new hobby and prized possession. So you see how that other thing, that old rusty lawnmower was clogging up his ability to actually take out his bike, exercise, have fun with ease, right? Not having to dig it out from behind stuff. He can just pop on his bike and go, and it's a win-win.
Oh, that is fantastic. And what great advice. He probably was going to be buried with that lawnmower 100 years down the road, right?
Exactly. And then his people, I mean, I work with grandparents, parents, and kids and grandkids, and they're always like, what were they thinking? Like, why were they keeping this stuff?
Yes.
And, I know we've gotten off track talking about possessions as such, but, I want to talk about just the energetics of everything in Q4, right? Because what
Yes.
happens in Q4 is we get more stuff. We
Hmm.
not only get more stuff, we have more activities.
Hmm.
Our pantries get overloaded because we're getting ready to do everything. Our schedule gets overloaded. Everything gets overloaded. And at the same time, we're trying to finish Q4 with a bang if we're in business, make the money.
Hmm.
Here's the thing, the more space that you create heading into Q4, the more energy you're going to have, the more money you're going to make, the more profitable you'll be ending Q4. And the kicker is 2025, easy breezy, much, much easier to jump right into the new year.
Because you're setting yourself up for success with that,
Yeah.
right? And your analogy of talking about the pen and the energy it takes makes me now think about everything else that we're doing or that we have in our life. Like you mentioned the pantry just now. When you open up that pantry, and if you are overwhelmed, it's what I'm learning from you is it's stealing energy. Now we might be talking about a pantry of food, but you know what? The thing is that what I'm learning here is that if energy is being taken there, it's being taken away from what's really important to me, and that's my business or that's my family. And to end Q4 in a strong way in my business, our businesses, then we want to have is maximum energy, maximum focus. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. And you being in the health profession, right? Think about the pantry. Let's just talk about the pantry for a little while. This is the perfect time to clear out the crap that you don't eat, or that you should not be eating this in your pantry, and put the good, healthy snacks that you should be eating eye level front and center. Get rid of the chips and the Doritos and all this stuff if you're trying to drop your weight, because guess what? We all gain generally, and generally, Q4, we gain 5 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the next Q4, we gain 5 pounds, and so on and so forth. So to stop doing that, you need to then eliminate the stuff that doesn't serve you, which is probably the junk food, and put the things front and center that you should be eating. And that's just from a food perspective. I mean, it goes on and on and on with, your calendar events, your business, get rid of this stuff that's what I call busyness, that's stealing your time and zapping your energy,
Mm-hmm.
stopping you from doing the things you really need to do to make the money.
Mm-hmm.
I curb the chaos and go move from chaos to cash.
Mm-hmm. 100%. It makes so much sense. So Kathi, I know that you work with individuals and you also work with organizations. Can you talk a little bit about that? What you do?
Oh, sure,
How you
sure. I
work?
work one-on-one with my clients,
Mm-hmm.
and because my goal is to create sustainable systems. Like I have a code of ethics, so I'm board certification. I must supply sustainable skills. And if
Mm-hmm.
I don't transfer skills to my clients, then I've flunked my job. So I do that, and I work with smart, savvy women entrepreneurs who are feeling overwhelmed and disheveled and just unclear, right?
Mm-hmm.
To create systems to support them in the background of their business. That's
Mm-hmm.
my main work that I'm doing right now. But I'm also a professional speaker. So I speak at conferences and associations and all around the United States, where I'm a keynote speaker, where I'm talking about these same principles.
Mm-hmm.
And the important thing, because of transference, is I always have them walk away with something they can do right now, actionable items. Here's what you can do when you leave this conference. You can go ahead, you can walk into, let's just say that, you can walk into your pantry, get rid of all the stuff you shouldn't be eating, and put your healthy snacks front and center, right? So
Okay.
there's always going to be an actionable step and an actual tip when I work with people, because that's part of what I've certified, right? That's part of my ethics that I've accepted.
I understand that. And I think it's so important because so often we will go to conferences and gain a lot of information, but it sounds to me as though you are asking your audience to walk away with an action item that they're going to implement. And I think that that is so important because we can fill up a notebook with notes from great conferences and so forth and do nothing with it. And much of it goes to the wayside, right? So I like what you do. That's a really important thing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I get a lot of love letter kind of notes post conference from my conference. The people who actually put on the conference saying, "You wouldn't believe so and so just she sent me a picture of her desk, or she sent me a picture of that," and I'm hearing all this feedback from people actually taking action. So I'm not a coach. I don't go deep into the coaching of anything. I'm a teacher. It's like,
Hmm.
here's step one, step two, step three. Go
Hmm.
do it. See what
Yes.
happens.
Yes. Well, listen, I think teachers are so important. I'm a coach. So I'm the one who's saying, okay, welcome to day one. I want you to open your pantry and I want you to get your garbage pail, a big one, and start dumping everything, including that sugar you had from Christmas last year, the year before when you made those cookies. Dump it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
So,
we have a lot of synchronicities between what you do and what I do. I mean, we're all about eliminating, right? Eliminating the stuff that's holding us back from reaching our full potential. That's what it's really all about.
it's true. I think everything has to do with mindset, but what you provided are the instructions that so many of us need and just are not aware of exactly what to do. And the fact, again, I'm going back to the pen because if you ever asked me what this was, I'd say this is just, an object. I wouldn't have told you it's an energy source of any means or energy had anything to do with it other than the fact that when you write, it takes energy. But oh my gosh, you just really made a good point. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just that. And think of if the average house has 300,000 items, which
Yes.
I think most of us in America have more than that, quite honestly, from my 20 years in the field. Uh, that's a lot to keep track of. That's a lot of stuff to possess. And
Yes.
as women in particular, we know everything in our environment, like nothing, a picture can be askew and we'll notice that. So
Yes.
everything in our environment we notice, especially as women. And
Hmm.
so the idea is you need space. You need space to be able to think clearly, and you don't need wall to wall, floor to ceiling stuff. You need actual open space so that your mind can work properly and you're not muddled up with all the, a pile is just a symbol of things left undone,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So we look at a pile and we're like, what is that? And then your mind starts going, right? And a pile is either indecision, procrastination, or avoidance.
Hmm.
And what happens with us is we start beating ourselves up. Why couldn't I handle that? Why is that pile still there? Why is that? How did that pile get there? Right. And then we're like, we should be on top of our game here. This is what we do as women. We judge ourselves. We should be on top of that game. There should not be piles and blah, 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 blah. So we then
Hmm.
energy, right? That
Yes.
pile then just again zapped your energy and zapped your thought process. And if you're in business
Hmm.
and you're from a home office and you're completely distractible by anything that's laying around that shouldn't really be there.
Right, right. Makes sense. So, in terms of business, I think about my business and I think about piles and I feel as though I'm very neat with folders and all that good stuff. Now, I also think about my house, and I'm saying this because many people can probably relate. Um, when my family had passed away, my immediate family, my mom, my dad, and so forth, was given everything. Okay. And so I still have like I'm staring at right now, crystal figures and stuff, like 7 of them. And I try sharing the wealth with other family members, and they just don't, want them or need them. What do I do? I know other people can relate. What do we do, Kathy?
This is a normal situation. And let me tell you what, Dawn, it's the girls that end up with the stuff. The guys, anybody in the family, it's never the guy that ends up with all the inherited stuff. It's always the girl, right?
Yes.
So what you have to realize is that what your loved ones thought was important to their life does not have to mean that it has to be important to your life.
Okay.
Right. So you have to let go of it. The last thing that anyone would want is for their loved ones to be burdened by their possessions. Like after they transition, that's probably the last thing that I ever want is for someone to be burdened and logged down with stuff.
Yes.
So it's hard. I mean, you let go and you try to move it forward to whatever agencies could best use it. If it's crystal figurines, I would give it to the high-end thrift store that sells that kind of stuff that can make money towards their good.
Yes.
You just need to move your good forward into the world, bless it, thank it, love it, and let it go. And then
Love
whatever
that.
you need is going to come right back to you. You don't have to be in guilt about getting rid of something that mom kept for 30 years. Like
Okay.
that's saying that your mother would want, actually. That's for
Mhm.
you to hold on just because mom did.
Yes.
So you just, and it's hard. I mean, I remember my mother transitioned really early when I was 17, and she left me the giant sterling silver platters and tea sets, coffee set things, because she was a minister's wife. So she used that stuff in the 40s or whatever, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
here I am, and I moved once with it, and I'm never going to use it. We don't even, people don't drink coffee and tea. We beer and wine, and right? But it's true. I mean, no one's ever gonna. So it was a really hard thing. But then whenever I let it go, and I let it go to a charity that I know was going to make money on it,
Yes.
it made me really good, and it got rid of that burden because it was ginormous, right? And
Yes.
here's the other thing, Dawn. The larger the object, the larger the reason it is you need to keep it.
Okay.
So if it's something big like that, it just had to like leave. And but even small things, if you have like 15 pins and 5 are sketchy and don't even really work, just get rid of them.
Right. Thank you. I think that's a great idea, a great tip, and I have a feeling I know what I'm doing this weekend. So paying it
Their
forward.
charities are designed to make money, they will welcome your things. And
Mhm.
the cool thing about the figurines is that someone's going to walk into that store that could have never bought something like that, and they'll find it and they'll be like, oh, and then it will beautify their environment. And because they took the time to buy it and bring it home, they're going to love it. So
Yes.
then you love infused to something that was for you is just like too much stuff, right?
Yes. So it's, so thinking about walking into Q4, for anybody, not just me, with, gifts that were given to me, or paperwork or things of that nature, even the kitchen, the pantry, as you discussed. What other tips do you have for a strong close to this year? Everybody wants to be successful and stress-free.
Get rid of your paper pile overwhelm. If you're suffocating in papers, ditch the papers and organize them and create a system before the end of the year. That way you'll go into the new year really organized. It will also help you organize your finances. It'll help you get organized for your tax return. Just ditch the paper. And I have an upcoming workshop next Tuesday just about that. It's called the Get It Gone formula, where I help people turn their piles into files and their papers into profits.
Ooh.
So the best thing you can do is get your office life organized and streamlined. And if you happen to have paper or data challenges where, I mean, I don't know if you know, Don, but the average entrepreneur wastes 4 hours a week trying to find documents and data and papers they know they have, they can't find.
Interesting. That's time consuming.
That's a month a year. A month
Yes.
a year. 4 hours a week is a month a year of wasted productivity.
Mhm.
So if you want to stop wasting productivity for Q1,
Mhm.
spend Q4 getting rid of all the paper and all the piles and try to figure out where your data is and get organized, basically, so that you can march into the new year strong.
Great advice. So this is on Tuesday. Is this on Tuesday, you had said?
Yeah, it's on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, and we'll drop the link below.
Perfect.
And yeah, love to see you. I'm going to talk about, how to eliminate your piles, good strategies you can use. And it does lead into an offer for a workshop. If you're really serious and want to get it done,
Mhm.
I put on this workshop every year right now, so
Yes.
that by the time Thanksgiving hits, woo, you're organized. You're ready for the holidays, ready to party, but there's no more piles and no more disarray in your home office.
Fantastic. I look forward to this. I really do. It's going to be great. And for anybody who's watching this, this is special. Kathi is really good at this. You've published how many books? I see 2 behind you right now, but how many books have you published?
I've written 3 books, and
Mhm.
I've co-authored 4 more.
Phenomenal. And I know you've been speaking at conferences, as you've mentioned. You've been out there for a long time. People know who Kathi is, and there are not a lot of chief professional organizers who are certified that I'm aware of. And so I'm blessed, Kathi, to collaborate with you. So this is great. Kathi did an amazing job speaking at the Thrive Beyond Work Summit. And if you want to catch her interview, you can still do that. Just reach out to me. But she was excellent during that interview as well. So
Oh,
Kathi, is
thank
there anything you
you.
want to add before we say goodbye?
I just appreciate you, Dawn. I appreciate all the work that you do in the world. You are such a go-getter. I mean, we've been playing for a while now, and you're always top of your game, and I very much appreciate you. And, if anybody is interested in getting rid of their piles, turning their piles into files, piles into files, and get more profitable, go ahead and click the link below. And Dawn will be there. I'll be there. We'll be having some fun. It's just an hour little masterclass, complimentary to everyone here listening, because Dawn.
Thank you so much, Kathi. Thank you for your kind words. And thank you so much for your friendship. Really appreciate you. See everybody
Absolutely.
on Tuesday.
See you
Take care.
then.
Bye. Thank you.